Welcome back, guys, to Wise Up TV. We are breaking down the game that took place between the Kangaroos and Toa Samoa at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Look, score in the end was 38-12 to the Kangaroos. That was probably predicted, but some interesting points to take from that game. Look, this game reminded me from a Kiwis fan perspective, like an Anzac test, where it's clearly obvious that I talked about last week, origin combinations, just really good structure. Kangaroos always hit the ground running no matter what. And that bombardment early in the game, look, you had Payne Haas at 4th minute, Tedesco 9, Tino at 12, Cameron Murray at 15. That first 15 to 20 minutes just absolutely destroyed Toa Samoa. And that's the challenge with teams that haven't trained together and like a lot of debutants, big rollover. And to remember that this Kangaroo squad pretty much the same that was in the World Cup last year. So they're kind of in the middle of their, I suppose, squad staying together. Whereas Toa Samoa, clear changes with Crichton and the likes in the halves. So it reminded me of those old Kiwi Anzac tests where you had combinations that had never played together. You had just a team that wasn't ready to really handle that amount of pressure early on. And it's a tried and tested strategy by Australia. Blow teams out early in the park and just defend pretty much the rest of the way. And they're able to do that. But some interesting things I thought came from the game, and we'll focus on Toa Samoa because I think there were a few interesting factors, and actually they kind of got into the game. And if you look at the tries that Australia scored, they scored in the 39th minute, and then 54 and 79. So they were able to kind of slow down that scoring, and they kind of got into a good pattern of play. I thought the standout for me was Sualovi Fa'alongo. Absolutely amazing game. The amount of pace that this kid plays with, has no fear, is in the vein of a Jaden Campbell or a Tane Tuopiki. Me being a Warriors fan, that smaller type fullback, but Sua has a lot more speed, I think, than both of those. Explosive speed, got great footwork in terms of goose steps, a variety of goose steps, and he's a very powerful runner. He took every high ball, I thought, really, really well, and he was just really exceptional across the park. You could see him talking to the players. There's this footage of him telling Crichton where to go, telling Toa what to do. That's what you want from your fullback, even though he's debuting and probably not, definitely not in the senior leadership. He has the courage to know I can tell my players what to do and where to do it. So I thought he had an amazing game, and was probably one of the bright lights out of a really, I suppose, poor performance. But this game was riddled with a lot of errors. I think if you look at it statistically, completion rate was super low, like 30 for 43 for 69% for Australia, 29 for 34 for 73%. So both teams, I suppose, with a lot of errors, and that can happen with internationals, especially in the first game. These teams have never played in a while, and timing's off, passes are off, and that is certainly the case for Toa Samoa. A lot of their passes were off, individual errors. But then, the overpowering element of Kangaroos at the start, I think, just destroyed them. Look, 1900 meters to 1400 meters. That's quite deadly. And then, but things did level off a little bit. Things leveled out more. For the Kangaroos, for me, it's always, I love what Ben Hunt does, especially at the start of the games. He gives so much good direction from dummy half, and helps Cherry Evans and Munster and the forwards. You don't really miss a beat with Ben Hunt. I would say if Ben Hunt wasn't to play, I'd say there's a good chance for any team to kind of get into a game, even though Harry Grant would probably play 80 minutes and do a wonderful job. But Ben Hunt just gives you that extra dimension, and you can really tell how quick on the ball he is, his decision making. He's just a class player, and then everyone just feeding off of that. The big factor that was kind of uncontainable was Payne Haas and Tino combined. that scared the daylights out of me. And you imagine if you had one of those two on either the Queensland team or the Blues, that double pairing is going to be deadly for the rest of the Pacific Championships. And I'll be interested to see how the Kiwis deal with those two. Their size, um, both just powerful and deadly with the ball and their running style. So that pack for mine, the Aussie pack, really stood up, really played well. Um, I thought they nullified a lot of what Toa Samoa were doing. Paulo and Utoi Kumanu, I don't think were as effective as they probably could have been. I wonder if Ben Gardner will look at that rotation and try and figure out something. That those starting props just didn't really make an impact for mine. And Payne and Tino on the other side, just too powerful. I love what Cameron Murray did as well. Just he usually plays in the middle, but he can play a nice line on the edge. Liam Martin didn't have to do much. Isaiah Yeo, again, just guys chiming in at the right times. Combos, their halves, I thought guided them well. Dylan Edwardson didn't miss a beat really. I thought Cobbo was one that he'd probably love to have his time back, and probably is the weak link in that squad. Kind of laboured in his running style. Tawalangi pretty much destroyed him when the opportunities that he got. So that might be the weak area. And I was saying in the preview to go down Edwards' side, but for me, it's more going down and targeting Cobbo. I think moving forward. But yeah, it's just one of those games. I thought Gordon had a great debut. He's a player that will be highly valued. I think again, this is a great opportunity for the likes of Fart Long or Gordon to show off their skill set to get themselves either a starting gig or a regular full-time gig in one of the NRL teams. And I thought Gordon did a pretty good job while he was there. I thought Crichton in the halves, probably wasn't the most natural fit. And it's funny, that's probably the first time I've seen two left-footed kickers. And I was thinking, why is Crichton kicking on the right side and kicking off his left foot? It was weird seeing it because I didn't realise Arcee was a left-footed kicker as well. So, but Crichton, he's got a nice long kicking game, and he's actually quite a good kicker. And I was wondering, but I suppose I think Burton might be a left-footed kicker. But there is an option there for Crichton, I suppose, to be in the halves, but definitely not his natural go-to. I thought starting Mata Moore wasn't a good start. In the hooker, personally, I'd probably try and play Gordon full 80 minutes if I possibly could. I think he just gives you better service and better ruck service from the ruck for mine. But look, if I'm Samoa, I'm saying, hey, in that second half, we nearly won. It was nearly even. There were periods, like I said, time where there wasn't much scoring going on, and I'm thinking, okay, if we can get something like that, and we can get some more consistency in our spine, and inject Far Long more effectively, I think he didn't have near enough touches in the red zone or in the goal line set to use his skills. I thought a lot of his stuff he was being creative from his own end, doing his own work, individual effort, but nothing to get him consistently over the line and put him in good places. I thought the centres did a reasonable job, but again, not to great effect. A lot of the tries came off, broken play, which is great, but you want to see a little bit more structure to be able to make sure that you can score effectively. But look, for them, it was getting through their combinations. It was getting through their systems. They'll get a bit tighter this week, I would imagine. A bit more confident, a bit more trust in their defense, a bit more confident in their attacking style and what they want to try and achieve. So it will be a big task for the Kiwis. I don't think the Kiwis should take this lightly. And look, the Kiwis probably going to be a little bit rusty as well. So that first half, especially, we'll break down the preview during the week once we see the team list. But Samoa could constantly feel that if they tighten up a lot of their areas, they're in for a chance. So, but for the Kangaroos, look, one down, one more to go, and then you're in the final. And I suppose for them, it's just refining what they're doing. Be interested to see what they do against the Kiwis. It might not be a must-win game. Who knows? So they might roll out a few more other options and look to a final to put their best team out. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, guys, that's the breakdown for that game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you later on the flip side. Peace.